Howdy, partners! Welcome to my kitchen, where the coffee's always hot and the conversation's even warmer. Today, we're trading in our cowboy hats for corkscrews as we embark on a delicious journey into the world of winemaking. Now, I'm more of a sweet tea kind of gal myself, but there's something downright fascinating about the way grapes transform into a beverage that's been enjoyed for centuries. It's like alchemy in a bottle. From the rolling vineyards of France to the sunny slopes of California, we'll uncover the secrets behind those elegant bottles of red and crisp glasses of white. We'll discover the difference between Old World and New World wines, and trust me, it's a tale of tradition versus innovation, just like on the ranch. So grab your favorite glass, pour yourself a glass of something delicious, and let's get started. Every great wine starts its life as a tiny bud on a grapevine. And just like with our garden here at the ranch, timing is everything when it comes to harvesting those grapes. Winemakers carefully monitor the grapes, checking their sugar levels and that perfect balance of acidity. It's all about finding that sweet spot when the grapes are ripe and bursting with flavor. Once the grapes are picked, it's a race against time to get them to the winery. You see, those little grapes are like eager beavers, ready to start their transformation into something truly special. Next, the grapes are gently crushed, releasing their precious juice. Now, don't picture any fancy machines here. Some wineries still use the traditional method of stomping grapes with their feet, just like they did in the old days. Now, things start to get really interesting. The crushed grapes, now called must, are transferred to large vats where the magic of fermentation begins. This is where tiny little yeasts come into play, like invisible chefs working their magic. They gobble up the sugar in the grape juice and transform it into alcohol. It's like a bubbly party in those vats, with the yeast creating all the fizz and excitement. During fermentation, the wine develops its character, its personality, if you will. And just like every batch of my blackberry jam is unique, each fermentation process is influenced by factors like temperature and the type of yeast used, resulting in a wine that's one of a kind. After fermentation, some wines go through an aging process. Now, this is where things get fancy. Some wines are aged in oak barrels, which add those lovely vanilla and spice notes. Think of it like adding a pinch of cinnamon to your favorite apple pie recipe. It just elevates the whole experience. Aging helps soften the wine, round out its flavors, and give it that smooth, velvety texture. Finally, after months or even years of careful aging, the wine is ready to be bottled. Each bottle is like a little treasure chest, holding the culmination of all that hard work and dedication. From the moment those grapes were harvested to the final corking, making wine is a labor of love, and you can taste the passion in every sip. Let's talk about Old World wines. These wines have been made for centuries in France, Italy, and Spain. They're full of history, tradition, and mystery, known for elegance, complexity, and terroir. Terroir is the wine's fingerprint. It's soil, climate, and geography. Why Bordeaux Cabernet tastes different from Napa. Old World winemakers let terroir shine, using native yeasts and neutral oak barrels. Now let's take a little trip through some of the most famous Old World wine regions, shall we? First stop, France, the land of romance, and, of course, exquisite wines. From the rolling hills of Bordeaux, home to those powerful Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot blends, to the sunny vineyards of Burgundy, known for their elegant Pinot Noir, France is a wine lover's paradise. Next, we'll hop over to Italy, where each region boasts its own unique grape varieties and winemaking traditions. Think Chianti Classico from Tuscany, made with Sangiovese grapes, or the sparkling Prosecco from the Veneto region. And let's not forget about Spain, with its rich history of winemaking. From the bold Tempranillo wines of Rioja to the crisp Albarinos from Rías Baixas, Spain offers a taste of sunshine in every glass. What sets Old World wines apart is their emphasis on tradition and the expression of terroir. Winemakers in these regions believe in minimal intervention, letting nature take its course. They use traditional methods like hand harvesting, foot stomping, and aging in large old oak barrels that don't impart too much oak flavor. It's all about preserving the purity of the grapes and showcasing the unique characteristics of the land. Old World wines are like a sip of history, a taste of a place and time. They're often lighter in body and alcohol, with a focus on elegance and balance rather than bold fruit flavors. Think of them as the lace doilies of the wine world, delicate, intricate, and oh so sophisticated. So next time you're feeling adventurous, grab yourself a bottle of Old World wine and let your taste buds travel to another time and place. Let's hop across the pond to the land of New World wines. These wines are bursting with adventure and a pioneering spirit. Think Americas, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. They make up for age with innovation and experimentation. Like culinary cowboys, they push boundaries. It's all about letting the unique terroir shine through. From California to New Zealand, these wines offer adventure in every sip. One of the things that makes New World wines so exciting is their embrace of international grape varieties. It's like a global potluck of grapes, with Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Chardonnay thriving alongside indigenous varieties. These grapes found a happy home in the New World, adapting to the different climates and soils like a chameleon changing its colors. And let me tell you, the results are delicious. Think of a bold and fruity Cabernet Sauvignon from California, bursting with ripe blackberries and a hint of vanilla from oak aging. Or imagine a crisp and refreshing Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, with aromas of citrus, passion fruit, and a touch of grassy herbaceousness. These wines are all about pure, unadulterated fruit flavors, thanks to the warm climates and ample sunshine in many New World regions. It's like taking a big bite out of summer, and who doesn't love that? Now you might be thinking, but Ree, what about the rules? Don't New World wines have to follow any traditions? Well, that's the beauty of it. New World winemakers are less bound by strict regulations, which gives them the freedom to experiment and innovate. They're like the rebels of the wine world, challenging conventions and forging their own paths. This sense of freedom allows them to craft wines that reflect their unique visions and the character of their land. For example, some New World wineries are experimenting with sustainable farming practices, organic viticulture, and even biodynamic principles. They're committed to preserving the environment for future generations, which is something we can all raise a glass to. So if you're looking for wines that are bursting with flavor, personality, and a sense of adventure, then saddle up and explore the exciting world of New World wines. We've moseyed through the rolling vineyards of the Old World and galloped across the vast landscapes of the New World. Now let's pour ourselves a glass and chat about these two captivating wine regions. Old World wines exude elegance and tradition, while New World wines are bold and innovative. These differences stem from climate, soil, and winemaking techniques. It's a fascinating journey exploring the nuances of each region. Climate shapes wine, influencing grape ripening and final style. Old World regions like France and Italy have cooler climates, resulting in lighter, higher acidity wines. New World regions often have warmer climates, leading to riper, fuller-bodied wines. Diverse microclimates in New World regions add complexity to their wines. Old World winemakers adhere to traditional methods, focusing on minimal intervention to express natural grape character. It's like a cherished family recipe, passed down through generations. New World winemakers embrace modern techniques, experimenting with fermentation and blending. It's like adding modern flair to a classic dish. Old World regions have stricter rules, like a well-structured hoedown. Y'all know I love a good story, and the world of wine is full of them. Especially when it comes to terroir, that magical combination of soil, climate, and grape-growing practices. Take Burgundy, France, for instance. The vineyards there have been carefully tended for centuries. Those old vines dig deep into the limestone-rich soil. It's like each sip tells a story of the land and generations of winemakers. Now, let's talk about oak aging, another one of those winemaking things that can seem kind of mysterious. You see those fancy words on the label like French oak or American oak, but what do they really mean? Well, it all comes down to the barrels. After fermentation, some wines get to hang out in these big old oak barrels, and the type of oak used can make a world of difference in the final flavor. French oak tends to be more subtle, adding delicate notes of spice, vanilla, and even a little cedar. American oak, on the other hand, is known for its bolder personality, bringing out flavors of coconut, dill, and a more pronounced vanilla character. It's like choosing between a sprinkle of cinnamon or a whole cinnamon roll. Both delicious, just depends on what you're in the mood for. Now, don't let this scare you off, but there's a whole lot of science that goes on inside a bottle of wine. It's like a chemistry experiment that results in something delicious. One of the most fascinating things is how wine ages. You see, as wine gets older, those tannins, which can make young wines taste a little bitter, start to soften and mellow out. And then there are the acids. They're like the backbone of a wine, giving it structure and balance. As wine ages, the acids also change, becoming more integrated and adding complexity to the flavor. It's a beautiful dance between all these different elements, and it's why some wines get even better with time, like a fine-aged cheddar or a well-worn pair of boots. Now, y'all know I love a good glass of wine as much as the next gal, but we gotta talk about the elephant in the vineyard: climate change. It's affecting everything these days, and the wine world is no exception. With rising temperatures and unpredictable weather patterns, winemakers all over the world are having to adapt to keep those grapes happy and healthy. Some regions are getting hotter and drier, which can lead to grapes ripening too quickly and losing some of those bright, fresh flavors. Others are seeing more rain and humidity, which can bring on diseases and make it tough to grow high-quality grapes. It's a challenge for sure, but winemakers are a resourceful bunch, and they're coming up with all sorts of innovative ways to combat the effects of climate change. One of the biggest trends in the wine world right now is sustainability. It's all about taking care of the land, conserving water, and reducing their carbon footprint. And let me tell you, it's about time. We only get one Earth, and it's important for all of us to do our part to protect it, even when it comes to something as enjoyable as wine. Lots of winemakers are switching to organic or biodynamic farming practices, which means ditching the harsh chemicals and pesticides in favor of more natural methods. They're also finding ways to conserve water, which is a precious resource, especially in drier wine regions. And some wineries are even using solar or wind power to run their operations. Now that's what I call raising a glass to a greener future. So, what does the future hold for the world of wine? Well, if you ask me, it's looking pretty darn exciting. With all the innovation and creativity happening in vineyards and wineries around the globe, I have a feeling we're in for some seriously delicious wines in the years to come. We might see new grape varieties emerging, ones that are better suited to warmer climates or more resistant to disease. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more emphasis on sustainability, with winemakers leading the charge in responsible agriculture. One thing's for sure, the world of wine is always changing, and I can't wait to see what delicious discoveries await us. Well, friends, that about does it for our little journey through the world of winemaking. I hope you learned a thing or two, and maybe even discovered a new favorite bottle along the way. Whether you prefer the old-world elegance of a French Bordeaux or the New World boldness of a California Cabernet, there's a wine out there for everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow wine enthusiasts. And be sure to check back soon for more fascinating insights into the world of wine. Happy sipping!